Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. My name is Sephiroth the Pathfinder. It's summer 2024, and the developers of Monsters and Memories just released their roadmap to early access, as well as hosting a few stress tests leading up to a weekend-long public playtest at the end of June. Now, if you go to their website, you can check out their roadmap, which I highly recommend you do if you are at all interested in the game. You can see here that they've released tentative dates for their development and developing their proof of concept, as well as when they plan on releasing their early access and potentially final release of the game. There's a lot of information here that you can read through. They also have a Trello board posted, so you can see like what's in the game, what they're working on, etc., etc. If you are at all interested in the development of Monsters and Memories, highly recommend you check out some of their developers on stream. They do live streams multiple times a week. Zukin Sculpts does a lot of the modeling. Pattis does a lot of the environment art. Goblin does a lot of the concept art and textures and such. A Loving Robot does a lot of the creative development and talking to the community and listening to what people have to say and taking discussing ideas for the game and such. And then I know Ollie started streaming a little bit just to share some of the back-end stuff of the game. Sure, I might have missed some people, but check out their website. They have all of their devs listed, where to find them, how to follow them, and I'll also share some of their links down here in the description. Now, I jumped into the test to get as much as I could out of the game, making new friends along the way, reaching new heights with my character, finding rare gear to upgrade, and attempting to conquer any challenges we found along the way. Now, I'm a fairly new content creator here on YouTube, and I've spent the last couple years honing my skills streaming on Twitch as Sephiroth. So if you like this content and you want to see more like this, please throw me a like, subscribe, say hello, or share some of your thoughts in the comments, and check out some of my live streams on Twitch. That'll really help motivate me to make more content like this and interact with the community. Now, without further ado, here's some of my favorite clips and moments from my time during the Monsters and Memories weekend test. Like everyone in this test, we started off in Night Harbor. It took us a little bit of time to get past some of the lag, which is as expected for a test. But once we did, we quickly made a lot of friends, figure our way around the city, perhaps tackling our newbie quests. I will be posting another video on the Bard newbie quest, just how to complete it, where to find all the NPCs and such, but that's going to be in another video. There's actually a lot of stuff to do in town and a lot of really neat little mechanics and quests. But the one that really probably hooked me in the most was the mercantile system. I spent a lot of time at this little guy here, a Shifty Gnome. Basically just buying up everything that people were too lazy to find the vendors to sell at and taking them back into the city and selling them at the proper merchants to amass our fortune for our guild and afford all of our spells and abilities. So this is a really great way for new players especially to do some good for the city and make some money. Now, it really didn't take long to figure out where to sell everything, but for any of you new players that are curious, basically you could take all of your rusty weapons and cloth into Night Market. You could sell the weapons to the rusty weapon vendor shown here, as well as the cloth armor merchant. And for any of your leather goods, that includes leather armor, pelts, any kind of scraps, etc., even Ashira bracers, you could take inside the tannery, which is kind of in the middle north of town. You just go in this building here that I got stuck in a wall in front of, and you can sell everything to the leatherworking supplies vendor here. And finally, all of the little meat scraps, beetle legs, stuff like that, I think even bones, you can go to the inn next to the bank at the west gate, and this cook here will buy most, if not everything, that is potentially edible. Also in here, you do get a rested experience buff, and actually behind me, not shown in this video, there's a little cooking stove where you can actually cook meat. which is really helpful once you start running out of food. Definitely always want to have food on you. It helps regenerate your hit points, your mana, or that might be drink as well. But something to always keep in mind. After figuring out all the little mechanics in town, we went out exploring. Little Wyrmsbane entrance tour here, and also checked out a lot of the cool lighting effects in game. You know, the game is really dark, but there is a lot of really cool mechanics, such as being able to make torches, place campfires, and of course the environment. The lightning is just so cool. I spent so much time just running around waiting for lightning strikes to happen and see the whole zone light up. Little things like this that make you feel really immersed in the game, and you can see how much time the developers actually put in to make the game feel like an actual environment and that you can immerse yourselves in. But every time that lightning struck down, I was just amazed. After getting over all the cool little environmental things, we spent a lot of time just hanging out next to the campfire, role-playing with each other, exploring each other's animations, checking out all the cool models and stuff, and also took some time to just sit down around the campfire and share some stories that we found as loot drops from mobs.
You really want me to read this out?
Yes.
I will. It's long.
Do it. Story time.
Warning, the words in this volume are sure to offend. They're not for the faint of heart. In fact, the author has been run out of many cities simply for expressing his views on the culinary. If you're not a cocktail weenie, keep your eyes glued to this page. Otherwise, pass this pamphlet on to someone who is less cowardly than you. Title, How to Serve Gnome. Gnome is one of the most delectable meats available. The little buggers are hard to catch, but once you do, you're in for an evening of delicious culinary delight. Heed not their screams. They are not intelligent creatures. They only mimic the sounds of human beings as a defensive mechanism. Do not feel guilty for their cries. Tell me, reader, do you feel sadness when a lamb bleats for its mother? Would you like me to continue?
Yes.
This is hard for me, as a gnome. Process gnome like you would any other meat, for they are just like any other meat, but more savory, melt-in-your-mouth flavor. Recipe 1, gnome on a stick, the basic way to serve a gnome. If you aren't patient enough to butcher it for yourself, you can quickly throw gnome meat onto a skewer, salt it, and cook it over a fire. Very simple, though not as tender. Recipe number 2, gnome steak. Gnomes make delicious steak, just as a steer would. They are relating me to a cow right now. Chop the meat into steaks, salt it, and sear it to desired doneness. Ooh, this one's kind of exotic. A gnome pita. Flatbread and gnomes go together like pixie butter and jelly. Take some minced gnome, add chopped garlic and salt, cook until fragrant, and scoop it into some pita. I hope you too will be able to enjoy serving the gnome as I have.
So after some much needed time around the campfire, telling stories, and some of us possibly trying to figure out how to eat our gnome friends, we decided to amass about 2 groups together and go off and explore. After running through shaded dunes down the coast, we came along this little cave, and we were excited to see what lied inside of it. As we waited for all of our little friends to catch up, we jumped on in. We were pleasantly surprised to find one of the deep zones, which may or may not be finished yet, and I think there are some lighting issues going on here, but it was definitely super fun to come down here and explore a bit, see a different biome, since most of the biomes right now are all, sand duny and desert stormy, so this was definitely a nice change of pace. Spent a little time exploring down here, and later on you'll see we tried one of the bosses down here, which I have at the end of the video. After exploring a bit, it didn't take us long to get back into our little role-playing sessions as we tried to see how many people we could skewer onto Pajamajam's ogre-sized two-hand sword we got. I can't stress enough how often we stopped to do little role-playing kind of things based on the races that we played. The art direction and the immersion in this game is just incredible, and it really encourages everyone to kind of stop and, you know, actually act as if they're playing the race that they chose, which is really fun. After that, we just spent a lot of time kind of grinding out, killing as many names as we can find, getting some upgrades for our characters, and, you know, just exploring the world together. A lot of our time was spent in Wyrmsbane, which is one of the lower level dungeons. My guess is that it goes from about level 3 or 4 up to maybe 12-ish. And it's pretty expansive. It's got a lot of different sections, all mostly undead, quite a few named. There's also a lot of quest armor drops here for various classes. So I believe most of the named down here, once you get into the higher level parts, they drop pieces of armor, kind of like in EverQuest from like Temple of Ishan, where you get, you know, chain armor drops for chain classes, etc. Kind of like that. And there's a quest NPC outside of Wyrmsbane that you can take these to and turn in along with Flawless Malachite to get your piece with stats on it. So we just spent a lot of time in here just kind of farming some of the named, getting some loot, and trying to upgrade our characters. So I'll leave you with one of the name that we found.
Alright, he's only level 10, so he should be pretty easy.
Charge. What is this experience?
Did he use mend?
Might have, he's a monk.
Cause I swear he just got like a huge HP boost there.
So in our travels, we came across this little spider crypt in Shaded Dunes that we decided to check out. This little crypt, I believe, would be probably around like levels 7 to 12 maybe, except for there is like a little Broodmother in there. Not a little, a huge Broodmother in there that we weren't ready for when we first got there. It's like a little mini dungeon, so it was really fun to check out early on. We did end up coming back later to tackle the Broodmother. If you do come in here, there's a bunch of like crypt brood mistresses. They do poison and such. We just kind of hung near the zone and pulled to the zone. I believe when you kill them, they do spawn little hatchlings or spiderlings that you got to take care of as well. So definitely a fun little detour to check out. We didn't spend too much time here. After this, I believe we decided to move on to Tel Ekir, which I will show some clips of next. So Tel Ekir has two different sides. We spent probably the majority of our time on the Ashira side. This side has a nice little camp for maybe 5 to 10 at the start. It does increase in difficulty pretty quickly though, as you get up to the front steps of the little castle, where you'll find alpha mobs, which are a bit higher level. I think they're like maybe 12 or something like that. But we spent a good chunk of time here just leveling up and exploring a bit. And shown here, this is the little alpha fort on the Ashira side. This actually connects to the goblin side. So if you're able to clear through here or invis through here, you can actually get over to the goblin side through there. And inside we found a couple named merchants that didn't give experience and didn't drop anything. But we also did find a named in there, which I believe I have a clip of later on in the video towards the end. And on the goblin side, I think we found goblin side to be a lot better experience because there's just a lot more mobs. I mean, they do connect to each other anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Once you're high enough level, you can just travel between both sides of the zone. But we just spent a lot more time on the goblin side, grinding out experience and leveling up. We didn't find too much in the way of named on this side. I don't know if it's just we didn't look in the right places or it's just not itemized yet or fully completed. Roa the Huntress is one of the first Ashira named we came across, as well as finding Mod Ramen, the first of alphas, inside the alpha fort. And this one actually dropped a pretty cool necklace and a really dope hammer for melee, two-hand hammer for melees, FYI. I don't think any Monsters of Memories playtest would be complete without making sure we found Chompers and saved all the gnomes from being eaten along the coast of Shaded Dunes. Also, Chompers drops a pretty dang good one-hand piercing weapon that's good for most melee classes, so anytime we found him up, we made sure to vanquish him and farm him for that dagger. After getting that Chompers kill, we decided to go back and make sure that we vanquished the Fungivore boss that we found in the deep. This was a pretty deep red con beetle, but I don't think she was any match for us. So we had a good, pretty strong two groups at the time, and it was a long fight, but it was super fun to be down in a different biome and be killing something different. Unfortunately, we did not get any loot from her, so we'll have to try back another time to see what she's got. So the rest of our time on the last day of the playtest, we spent with a little mini raid in the Ancient Crypt. The Ancient Crypt is approximately a level, like 12 to 20 kind of zone. We were just coming in, just doing some exploring. We knew that the zone wasn't really kind of in a finished state, not really totally itemized or anything, but we wanted to see what we could do. So we found Brosson the Butcher and did a little bit more exploring, found a couple other named before finishing off with what might be the boss, or at least mini boss of the zone. So Skyseer Ilya is potentially a mini boss of the zone or the boss of the zone. Pretty tough encounter. Unfortunately, I didn't live to see the mob die because I died from her nasty area effect pretty quickly on pull. So, but nonetheless, it was a pretty fun fight. Definitely a challenge, and definitely something I'd like to see more of in terms of, kind of mini raid content, or at least very challenging group content. And I do think we are a little bit low level coming in here, but you know what? We wanted to finish out strong and have fun. Fortunately, once again, didn't drop loot, but what can we say? It's a test. And lastly, I'm going to leave you with our little mini raid on the Broodmother in the Spider Crypt. First came along and kind of helped us out, or at least guided us along, and we had a lot of fun with him. So thanks a lot, First, for hanging out with us.
This isn't the boss, right?
No.
No, she's huge. Won't even fit in this hallway huge.
Don't give
Keep
her
pulling.
that.
Charmer's gonna break soon. Keep pulling.
You guys might want to have some charm pets.
Yeah, we may want to have charm cards. That's a good idea. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming! Everybody on it! There it is!
We're gonna have minis. Spiraling.
Where? I'll charm him. Where? What do you mean everywhere? I don't see shit. Oh, I see him. I'm charming.
We need weakness on it. Cripple.
Charming the spiderling. I got it.
I have a creeper in the deck. Just trying to- Good, dude.
Yeah, spiderling's my pet.
There's a frenzy Crypt. Charmed it. Nice work, babe.
I got the creeper. Charmed.
There's just gonna be a bunch of there's just gonna be a bunch of
We f***ing got this. We got this.
Arm touching.
Charming the creeper.
Be prepared for the babies.
Where the f*** is she going?
Is she running? Is she...
Oh, as he's. Oh,
what's
what makes you
happening?
think you?
What the f***?
Snared it. I got snared.
Whoever gets the kill, loot it. Loot it, and we zone out. Loot it, zone out. Loot it, zone out.
let's get her dead first.
He's running up again. More deaths.
Illuminator. Can't go nowhere.
Loot it, zone out.
She has nothing.
Nothing? Are you kidding me?
No.
Zone out. Everybody zone out.
Is she supposed
Oh, we
to?
did
I
it.
took a screenshot. Is she supposed
We
to?
f***ing did it. I don't know. First it's here. He saw everything. We did it. And thank you so much for tuning into the video. I hope you enjoyed everything. I sure had a blast playing the playtest, and I can't wait for more. I got to play with a lot of old friends, make a lot of new friends. The community is amazing. Being able to play the game with the developers and seeing the developers have so much fun in the game as well is just really refreshing. So I can't wait to see what lies ahead for Monsters and Memories. I hope to see you all in the game soon as there's more playtests or when early access comes out. But in the meantime, please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you enjoyed the video. Like I said earlier, it really helps motivate me to make more stuff like this, and I do want to make a lot more stuff like this. So also please check me out on Twitch as Sephiroth, and I'll be leaving links for Monsters and Memories, some of their developer streams, as well as some of my own links in the description. Thanks everyone, take care.